former NYPD, New York Police Department detective, Oskar Odom, who is joining us live from New York. Great to have you with us, Oskar. So we are still getting details about this incident that's happening at the US Capitol. But from your point of view, as a former police detective, how might this incident have evolved and how would police have reacted?
Yes, well, one of the things is that you have to always be prepared for the unexpected. And given the climate that we're in now, we have to make sure that we follow all intelligence reports to find out what happens, because this can be a precursor to what may happen next. And it may have been a trial, because what we have seen before in the past is that they have done trial runs on certain incidents like this. So we cannot take this for granted, because terrorism is defined as premeditated, politically motivated acts of violence. So we have to prepare. Just like the first attempt on the World Trade Center bombing in 1993 and also 9/11. You never know what's in the mind of people, so you have to make sure that you are prepared.
So what would you expect to see happening now to the level of security at the US Capitol?
Well, definitely, I should say that they should beef up the security. They should make sure that everybody's talking to one another, just like what they found in the 9/11 Commission report, that everyone should be talking to each other, the different law enforcement agencies, definitely the intelligence community. Everybody should be talking and gathering information and making sure that the right hand know what the left hand is doing and that they're preparing for possible future attacks and follow up on this investigation.
And where might the investigation begin? We don't have many details of the person who seems to have been involved in this incident, but where would any investigation start from?
Well, first of all, you have a vehicle. It should have some sort of license plate. You could probably check with that to see who was involved with. Also, if the person had a cell phone on them, you could look at the cell phone. You could check the data of the cell phone, and that will give you a chance to get some sort of positioning of the person, where they came from, who they may have been talking to, and what may have been the intent.
And Oskar, as a former law enforcement officer, I wonder if you could give me a personal reaction of how you feel knowing that two officers are potentially have been injured in this incident.
Well, that hurts personally, because here it is once again, officers have to make split-second decisions. We put our lives on the line 24/7, and the fact that they are injured after all the different things that was happening, it shows you the importance of police work. It also shows you their dedication. It also shows you their sacrifice, be willing to put their lives on the line. And it's a job that when you take you out there to serve and protect, and that's what these officers were doing. They were out there serving, protecting, and selflessly going to a job in which you never know whether or not you're going to come home at the end of your tour. And these officers displayed bravery beyond reproach.
And you talked about law enforcement agencies working together. Would you also imagine that the police would now be talking to the intelligence community to try and find out a bit more background information potentially about this suspect?
Oh, definitely. And especially since it was on federal grounds, everybody should be talking to one another. And I'm quite sure they have everybody involved, all the different intelligence communities, from everybody from the CIA to the different Secret Service, Department of State, all the other intelligence community from NYPD, who also gathers a lot of information. So all of these intelligence agencies should be talking to make sure to find out what has happened and what background they may be able to find on this particular incident. And also who has this person been talking to, and also their connections and what they may have been involved with.
And how do you think lawmakers will feel? Obviously, they were... the US Capitol was the target of what happened on January the 6th, and now seemingly is a target again. How will US lawmakers and indeed Washington feel today, do you think?
Well, now, definitely this should help to heighten the level, to realize the importance of security, to realize what happened before the breach of security, to realize that they need to have more security there, the intelligence community, and be able to make sure that they provide protection for people in the greatest country in the world, to make sure that we do this. And this is what law enforcement officers do each and every day, the brave women and men in law enforcement. So therefore, their security definitely should be heightened, and everybody should pay attention to what is going on, and nobody should be holding back any reports to make sure that we keep everybody safe.
And how usual is it that shots might be fired in an incident where the suspect seemingly has a knife?
Well, the thing is that you have to look at the threat, because when you're dealing with use of force and deadly use of force, a vehicle is definitely a weapon. So therefore, if somebody's charging at you with a vehicle, you can use deadly physical force. So the person had a vehicle, used it as a weapon, and then not only that, after the weapon came out with the knife. So far, that's what the report has stated. And therefore, you don't know what could have been happening. You don't know whether the car could have been loaded with explosives or anything. So therefore, there definitely was a threat to come through there, to come through the barrier, to come on federal grounds. It definitely was a threat. And we have to watch it to make sure that this was not a test run for something bigger.
And the US Capitol area still on lockdown. How long might it take before that lockdown is able to be lifted? And what sort of process do police officers go through in order to make an area safe?
Well, the thing is, there's always planning. There's always different types of preparation. There's communication with the local law enforcement, be it both federal, state, and local, and also with the intelligence community to be able to plan so that everybody's on the same page. And we have what we call a belt and suspenders approach to make sure that nothing slips through. Also, due to this recent incident, we should realize, of course, that it possibly should be extended, the security around the Capitol, to make sure that everything is safe and that everything is in place. So therefore, once all the law enforcement community begin to talk in the different intelligence communities, they should have an idea and be able to have a plan to put forth to move forward. And I think this time they are prepared. They have the intelligence report. We have another incident in which someone tried to breach the Capitol. So I think the officers did a great job, and I'm quite sure they're going to prepare even more.
OK, Oskar Odom, former NYPD detective, really great to get your insight into this incident today. Thanks very much for talking to us.